Hello everyone, welcome to the second session of the bookmark special series Bookmark with Fragments. This is the first bookmark that we did yesterday, yes, and today we are going to be drawing another bookmark. I have already mentioned the size is 6 inches by 2 inches and it is a thick paper, watercolor paper. Today's fragment is fragment D1, yes, so I will start right away, and we are again going to be using a square grid today also, yes. So I'm first going to draw the grid, starting with the two vertical lines using my micron pen, which is a slightly bolder nib, yes. And first I'm going to draw the grid. So I'm going to divide into further sections. Slowly take your time. Right, so we have the square grid in place now. Now I'm going to start with the fragment right away. So first we are going to draw these zigzag lines, and then a dot here, and connect the dot on 1, 2 and 3 corners. Yes, rotate, again a dot here somewhere facing this dot, and connect this dot to 1, 2 and 3 corners. So that's the fragment that we are going to be working on today, and I have alternated the second line. Yes, so the first center line is in this direction, the second one is in the opposite direction, so that it forms a pattern in itself. Yes, you will see that as we draw further. You can keep all these lines in the same direction also. By alternating the lines, I'm going to make some flowers. Yes, so the fragment itself will make a pattern when fitted into this reticula. That's the whole purpose. By reticula, I mean the grid. Yes, so that was the first row. Now this was diagonally running from left to right. The other one will be in this direction. Yes, and again I'm going to add a dot, connect, again it's up to you. You want to start with the dot, you can start with the dot. Again I will alternate the direction of the center line. And then again the same exercise on the other side. Again, since this was in this direction, next one like this, connect, right? So this is the flower and this is half of the flower. Yes, so I'm going to continue like this. So left to right like this, so the other one will be like this, right? So again, same fragment. The next line will be in this direction. Again, yes, so this flower is complete now. Now the next line will be in this direction. Slowly take your time. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to complete the entire thing. So again, I'm changing direction of the lines. You will understand it yourself because you have to complete the pattern. So that will itself guide you on how and where to draw the lines. Next line will be like this. Yes, so I'm talking about this flower that will guide you on which direction the line has to be. Anyways, I'm alternating the direction of the line. Take your time. Slowly complete the whole grid in the same fashion. I'm going to go on like this. I think by now you have understood how to complete the flower. Yes, you have to follow the same procedure. Keep alternating the lines. So second line will be like this, third line will be like this, and then you have to just insert these three lines, basically a triangle, and connecting this point to the center. So I finished drawing my fragment. Now let us get to shading. I'm again going to be using my color pencils to shade, but these are again optional. If you want, you can always use the normal graphite pencil to shade. Yes. Now each of these sections, this triangle has 3 sections. Yes. So I'm going to start with a very light shade. So these are 2 shades. You can see one is lighter and one is darker. So I'm going to start with the light shade in one section. Then I'm going to push the pencil a little harder in the next section, but I'm using the same pencil. But I'm pushing it a little harder to get the next level of shade. Yes, and then I'm using a darker pencil for the third section. Yes, if you want, you can create all the 3 shades using the same pencil. Yes, let's do that only, I think, because this color is looking a little different. So I'm going to use one pencil only and create 3 different shades using the same pencil. So I'm now moving to the next section. So this will be dark. This will be a little lighter. And this will be very light. Something like this. Yes, let's use our blender pencils, since I mentioned that this paper has a lot of tooth. So I'm going to push the pigment into my paper using my blender pencil, starting from the lightest, going to the next, and finally to the darkest tone. Like this. Yeah, so let's do that for all the sections. I'm again going to start with some dark color here. You can use 3 different shades also. Next, I'm going to reduce the pressure, make it a little lighter here. And the third one will be absolutely light pressure. Absolutely light pressure. And a little darker here. Yes. Let's blend it. Absolutely light here. And then darkest in the center. like this. Yeah, so let's go on like this. As I mentioned, you can also use 3 different shades of color pencils. I'm using the same. So again, repeating the same exercise, pushing my pencil hard in the center 2 sections. Make sure your pencil is sharp enough. Yes. Then the adjoining section, a little darker but lighter than the first one, and this will be absolutely light, just a soft touch. Yes, let's first do this exercise for all, and then we can blend all of it together. I'm just showing you the first row, so that's the darkest. Moving on to the next, which is a little lighter, and then the third one, which is the lightest. Make sure there are no white sections. Blend nicely. Yes, so I'm going to continue like this. Please take your time and do it at your own pace. So you can see here I'm still continuing in the same fashion, and you can see how the 3 shades are adding beautifully to the look of this fragment. So continue in the same fashion, adding the darkest shade in the center 2 sections. Yes. Take your time, pushing my pencil hard to get a nice dark pigment down there. If you layer it more, you can get an even darker shade. Yes. Then I'm going to reduce the pressure a little, and then very light. Yes. Again, reduce the pressure a little, and then very light touch. Reduce the pressure, very light touch. Basically playing with 3 shades. Reduce the pressure and very light touch. Again, very light touch here, a little more pressure here, very light touch, a little more pressure here. Yes. Again, using my blender pencil. You can also use your white color pencil, as I mentioned in my previous session also, whatever is readily available. At times people use mineral spirits. You can also try using your blending stuff to push in the pigment into your paper. Yes, so we have 3 shades in place like this. Again, lighter shade there. Yes, and the third one. And we already blended this one. Yeah, so I'm going to continue like this and do the remaining 2 sections also. So I'm now blending the last section, done with adding my color pencil. So I've done that activity. That's it. We don't need to do anything else on this bookmark. It looks beautiful as is. Yes, but I'm going to show you one more way to do the same thing. If at all you want to use the same bookmark, same fragment in a different way, then there's one more way to go about doing it. So what I'm going to do is, if you don't want to use your color pencil, there is one more interesting way to use the same fragment. So what I'm going to do is use a bold nib like an identity pen, a really bold nib, yes, and again do the same thing. I'm going to draw the fragment. Yes, probably one line in between. Do the same exercise but a little differently. So what I'm going to do is draw 2 lines crossing each other. So a cross, then a plus sign, drawing the same fragment a little differently. Yes, a somewhat similar looking fragment. I think it's the same. Yes, it's the same. Instead of our color pencils, this time we will use our brush pen. So I've added a cross, then I've added a plus. It looks very similar to what we have already done. Yes, and then join these like this. So as I mentioned, I'm using a bold nib, using a marker pen. Why? I'll tell you in a while. Drawn a cross, a plus, and then joining this. Yes, very similar to the fragment that we already did. Again, start with a cross, add a plus, and join. Yeah. Now, if you don't want to use your color pencils just the way we did in this fragment, yes, you can also use your brush pens. And I have used a very bold nib so that I can create a stained glass kind of an effect using this fragment. Yes, so let's start. I have few brush pens, very bright colors. Let's start with 2. So first I'm going to add pink to this section. Choose your own mix of colors. Just make sure they are bright. Right now I'm just simply adding color. Just the way you would do with an ordinary color pencil or a sketch pen. Just doing that activity, adding color. Yes. And then the other half probably I will go with a yellowish shade. Yes. I will do the same here also. Yes. And then I'm going to use pink. Like this. Again, here you can use pink, or you can alternate, whichever way you like it. You can create beautiful stained glass effect using your fragments. There are many such fragments which you can use. I just wanted to give you an idea. Yes, I'm alternating shades. That's it, doing nothing else. Make sure you color nicely. Pick some bright colors. And then we have the flowers left. So your choice of colors, pick any that you like. So I'm going to again alternate orange, orange, and then add some green, or you can add any other color of your choice. Let's add a darker green. So I'm going to add a darker green so that it looks different from my yellowish background. Yes, something like this. So again, let's do the orange first. Alternate. Let's do this for all. Slowly, take your time. Yeah. So I'm now adding the green. I've already added the orange. Yes, you can see it looks so colorful and beautiful. Just the fragment, nothing else. Them in one session. So fill up all these spaces. So I'm done coloring. Now one small thing that you can do is either use the same shade or a little darker shade to add a little extra darkness at the corners. Right, so either you can use the same brush pen. This will also add a little additional darkness. I'm not sure if it is visible, or you can take one shade higher. So now what I'm going to do is use the same shade and add a little extra darkness at the edges. So I'm basically redoing these lines, adding a slight border. So the spaces are small, so you have to be a little careful, but I am adding a little extra darkness just like a border to each of these sections. Yes, so you need to do that for each of the sections to get a nice stained glass kind of an effect. Yes, so redoing each of the sections at the edges, creating a border. Once you are done that, then you can use your white chalk pencil very comfortably and highlight the centers a little bit. Yes, so what I'm going to do is use my white chalk, and then highlight the center a little bit. So this gives a little more authenticity to the stained glass look. A little highlight at the center, something like this. Yes, and you can go ahead and do that for all the sections. So I'm just showing you one so that you understand. Yes, so what we have done is added a border just to add a little extra darkness, fine one, small sections, and then use your white chalk pencil and add a slight highlight. Inside each. Yes, the chalk will work on the brush pen, something like this, and it looks perfectly like the stained glass effect. If you want, you can always blend the chalk. Yes, so use a blending stub. If it is looking patchy, just go back and blend the chalk. Just make sure it is dried, otherwise you may end up damaging your tile. Yeah, so let me complete this. So I'm almost done adding my highlight. As I mentioned, I'm using my white chalk pencil, adding a triangular highlight in the center of each of these sections that we created. It helps create the stained glass effect. Yes, adding a triangle with my chalk. Slowly take your time, go to each of the sections, do that exercise. And now if you want to soften the chalk a little bit, you can always run your stub, take away the excess, soften it, blend it so that doesn't look patchy. Yes, so just wanted to show how you can use the same fragment with a little variation in terms of how to draw it and how you can beautifully create stained glass effect using many of these fragments that we are going to be doing in our upcoming sessions on fragments and bookmarks. Yes, and that's it. Our bookmark is ready. Yes, and this one looks pretty subtle and this is pretty bright. Yes, so let's close our tile here. If you want, you can put in your chop somewhere there, sitting cozily. I'm not going to do that right now. Yes, let's close our session here. I'll see you again with another new session, some more fragments and bookmarks. In fact, many more to go. Yes, bye-bye.